Well, it is the end of an era indeed. May 5th of 2025 will go down as one that I'm sure will be looked at with great conflict, and everybody will remember this day when it comes to Ravens history and what it means for the organization moving forward, what it means for the player himself, and that is kicker Justin Tucker, who has been released by the Baltimore Ravens. The team just announced this news within the hour, and now we instantly react. So welcome inside the channel. I'm bobtrosset. You guys know the drill. We will open up the guest lines so we can get your instant reactions because, again, I know this is a bittersweet day for a lot of you. This is also a day that comes with great emotion on really every side of the coin that there could possibly be. So let's get into it. I'll share my thoughts with you. We'll share the Ravens' thoughts with you as well, according to their statement. And we'll also open up the guest lines to allow you to vent because, let's be honest, again, I just think that this is a momentous day in a lot of ways. And so let's get into it right now. Eric DeCosta, Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Ravens, released the following statement, again, a short while ago. Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances, Eric wrote. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history, really a countless amount. And for those of you who have been fans of the Ravens since he was brought into Baltimore as an undrafted rookie out of Texas in 2008, you guys can, 2011, and began in Baltimore in 2012. You guys can speak to that. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing for the Ravens. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in this next chapter of their lives. That is Eric DeCosta, the man who just made the decision. I'm sure it was a collective decision to cut and release Justin Tucker. That will be, according to Jeff Zaribek of The Athletic, a post-June 1 designation. We'll get into the specifics of what that means in just a bit for the team's salary cap and whatnot, future spending, so on and so forth. But let's just go back to yesterday when John Harbaugh at rookie minicamp spoke with the media and had this to say about the situation at the time. Again, this was about 24 hours ago on Sunday.
Right. Great question. I mean, as you know, Justin's been in the building the last couple of weeks, kicking and everything, and got a chance to talk a little bit. Been working hard. I would just say, like, from a standpoint of the investigation and all that, I mean, we don't know anything. I mean, we haven't been given any information, and that, as it should be, you know, it's all done the way it's done. So we don't know anything along those lines, so we can't make any decisions based on that. Every decision we make has to be based on football. There's a lot of layers to that. You know, you've got a rookie kicker in here. You took him in the 6th round, early in the 6th round. He's a talented guy. Just from a football standpoint, salary cap, you know, all the different things that you just take into consideration. Whatever we decide to do over the next few weeks will be based on football.
Video from yesterday, courtesy of ESPN's Jamison Hensley. And there is a reason, they've been catching some flack for this, but there is a reason why they continue to refer to it as a football decision. There is one reason and one reason only why that's the case. And that is due to the ongoing investigation. The findings, the results have not yet been released by the National Football League. And I just saw a short while ago, CBS insider Jonathan Jones making note that he just heard from the NFL there is still no update into the findings, from the findings of this ongoing investigation that is now multiple months long. And if you've been living under a rock and are just checking in, or maybe you just need a refresher, Justin has been accused of inappropriate behavior, perhaps sexual misconduct is a way of putting it, by 16 massage therapists from 8 different Baltimore area spas and wellness centers. All of the alleged incidents occurred during sessions between 2012, his rookie season, and 2016. That covered his first 5 seasons in the National Football League. Justin has publicly disputed the allegations twice, including a statement he posted on social media in January, calling the accusations, quote, unequivocally false. The NFL has obviously, as I've already mentioned, been investigating the matter. That is where the current situation stands when it comes to the legal aspect of it. If you needed a refresher on the entire piece, you can go to Justin's Twitter of his statement that, again, was released in late January on the 30th. Here it is right here, calling the Baltimore Banner article unequivocally false. And he goes on to defend himself through this piece that was, again, posted on Twitter January 30th. So, again, before we kind of get to where the Ravens go from here, what the monetary reality is, the salary cap reality, and why don't we just get to it right now because I have the slide in front of me. And again, Jeff Zaribek of The Athletic noting a short while ago that it is a post-June 1 designation. So Brian McFarland, friend of the show, Ravens salary cap analyst, was kind of going back and forth on the different options that exist here. It will be, according to Jeff's reporting, and he is always spot on, a post-June 1 designation. So they're going to save $2.1 million on the 2025 cap. That's after June 1st. But they'll carry a $4.645 million number in dead money on the 2026 cap. So there are implications. There are obviously repercussions from this decision. More from Brian as well in a separate tweet. It's a decision of, one, taking all the dead money this year, which costs them an additional $445K in cap space, but with zero dead money pushed into 2026, or two, and this is the option that they're ultimately winding up choosing if Jeff's reporting is correct, the post-June 1 designation creates $4.2 million in 2025, but it also pushes, again, that $4.645 million number in dead money onto the 2026 cap. So that's where things stand. It will free up some. It will also push some down the road into 2026. And ultimately, the Ravens had no other choice last month but to use one of their, five? What was it? 5 or 6? Now, of course, memory doesn't serve me in a moment where my mind's spinning. I'm sure yours is as well. We all knew this was coming, but there's just a lot of information coming out at once. However many 6th-round picks they had this year, I think it was 5 or 6, they had to select a kicker, and that's exactly what they did in Arizona's Tyler Loop. And we'll get to him in just a second because he will now officially be the successor of the greatest, the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League. Justin is an 8-time All-Pro. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler. He was named to the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team. He owns the longest field goal in NFL history at 66 yards. Just ask the Detroit Lions about it. He was 417, and I say was, he may still have a football career left in him. Let's see how this investigation unfolds. Justin may not be done yet. 417 of 468 he has converted on field goals throughout his career. It's been an illustrious career. It's been a Hall of Fame caliber career at the kicker position. And in a market where you've had some pretty darn legendary icons come through and play here, one of whom is here right now, who dons the number 8, the number 20 in the past, the number 52 in the past, right? So on and so forth. In a market where those numbers can be seen oftentimes just as much as number 9 can be on a game day when you're walking through M&T Bank Stadium, that right there tells you the impact, tells you the legacy, and tells you who the Ravens ultimately found, and Jerry Rosberg leading the way, in a Texas kicker who was undrafted, went on to become a Super Bowl champion in his rookie season. And my, oh my, just an incredible football career for Justin Tucker. He's owns the highest career field goal percentage in NFL history at 89.1%. That's with a minimum of 100 attempts. And while it has not been elite, has not been consistent enough for everyone's liking over the last 2 seasons, it will never be disputed this guy's greatness, this guy's clutch gene, and what this guy brought to Baltimore from a football perspective over the last decade plus. This now ends a streak from a player perspective. There is no one left on this roster from the 2012-2013 Super Bowl team. And if that doesn't mark the end of an era, I don't know what does. That's it. It was Justin Tucker, the lone member from the 2012-2013 Super Bowl championship winning team. And for that and many more reasons, it's the end of an era. That is your breaking news regarding Justin Tucker. I still think that if for some reason he is cleared by the NFL, or perhaps he serves a suspension for a half a season, a third of a season, I still have reason to believe, based on what I've seen, that he will get another chance in this league. His services will be needed. But obviously that's a big if. And the NFL still has to make a decision regarding Justin Tucker based on this, what really, at this point, feels like a lingering investigation. They are taking their time, and that is ultimately why the Ravens continue to refer to this as a football decision, because until they have the conclusion of said investigation, they can't refer to it as anything else. They have to be really careful with their words for legal purposes, and that's ultimately why they continue to use that kind of jargon, that kind of language, that kind of terminology. And so for those that are online bashing them for that, that is simple stuff when it comes to PR, legal guidance, so on and so forth when you're an organization. So really, there's nothing more to it than that. And so when one era ends, another begins. And Mr. Tyler Loop, the Arizona kicker, who spent 5 seasons in the Pac-12 after redshirting his freshman season, now gets the opportunity of a lifetime. And my, oh my, best of luck, young man. Attempting to succeed, the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League. That is Tyler Loop, and this was his debut at Ravens rookie minicamp, which has been taking place this week. Video footage caught and shared online by Morgan Atzett, one of the reporters for Fox 45 here locally in Baltimore. Tyler has a big leg, converted from 62 as a long last year at Arizona. And I have some statistics for you too if you need a refresher. He was 18 of 23 in his final season at Arizona. That's good for a 78.3 field goal percentage. He was 6 of 9. 5 of those misses came from 50 plus. I should say 3 of those misses. He only had 5 in total. 3 of those misses came from 50 plus. As far as Justin, for comparison purposes, again, it's hard to compare when Justin's at the pro level and who he is and who he was in Baltimore to Tyler Loop at Arizona. But Justin, of course, last year, as we all remember, was subpar, particularly given his stature, his resume, a field goal percentage of 73.3. That ranked 28th league-wide, and he was tied for 15th in 2023 at 86.5%. So, you know, when folks float out there the comments that Justin hasn't been himself, Justin hasn't been elite in multiple seasons, that's the truth. And for the first time in a long time, the Ravens' fate when it comes to close games, divisional games, relies upon this guy right here, number 33, Tyler Loop, the Arizona kicker, who was drafted in the 6th round just last month. Guest lines are opening up momentarily. There he is working with Chris Horton Randy Brown, special teams coordinator, special teams assistant. Number 3 right there is a kicker from Wyoming who was one of the minicamp undrafted rookie tryouts. But Tyler now gets a shot. See if it pays off for the Ravens. This episode is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. And if you'd like to join the show after I tell you a little bit about PRMI, you can do so by clicking on the link that's included in the live chat right now. I expect the phone lines to be buzzing, so quickly get in that waiting room and get involved as quickly as you can so we can have a conversation about your instant reaction to Justin Tucker's Ravens release on what will become and has become a day that will forever be remembered when it comes to the history of the Baltimore Ravens. Guest lines are open. Primary Residential Mortgage is open for business, and they make home ownership more affordable for you. PRMI is here to help you save big on your path to owning a home. They offer down payment assistance programs to help qualified buyers get into a home with less out of pocket. Plus, they're going to give you $100 closing costs gift certificate to sweeten the deal. You can scan the QR code or just click the link that you see right now as a pinned comment in the live chat, and you will redeem yours today. The certificate is valid for 90 days from the date of receipt. And I just want to tell you, I've had such a tremendous experience working with Primary Residential Mortgage. I've spent a good chunk of this offseason trying to figure out what I qualify for, what I'm eligible for, what the pre-approval process is for a loan. And ultimately, as a self-employed entity, the way that I've been for now almost 3 years, it's a lot different, the process of it. And my guy, Zach Evans, my guy, Michael Clark, my girl, Naz, all at Primary, they take good care of me. They will for you as well. If you want to get involved in the home buying process today, go visit the show notes. Go visit the pinned comment right now in the live chat, and it'll take you directly to my landing page. And ultimately, you can cash in on those $100 closing cost certificates as well, which is a great little added on bonus for you. All right, off we go to the guest lines. Over 1,000 concurrents right now between YouTube and Twitter. We are instantly reaction. There goes my English. We are instantly reacting to Justin Tucker's Ravens release. His career in Baltimore has come to an end, and the team just released the following statement within the last hour or so. Eric DeCosta, sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances, he wrote. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing for the Ravens, and we sincerely wish him and his family the very best in this next chapter of their lives. To the guest lines we go. Taurus and Manny and many others waiting right now in the waiting room. Want to get your instant reactions to the end of an era and, of course, the beginning of a new one with Tyler Loop. What's up, brother?
Oh man, what's going on, Bobby? Flock Nation, Ravens Nation, all that, man. What's going on, y'all?
Good to
What's
see you,
good?
man. Good to see you. I'm sure you're going to have some thoughts on this, so hit us with it.
At first, I was really enraged over the fact that they kept Tucker for so long. In hindsight, comparison to Ray Rice, but seeing that it's really happening now, in reality, like really sinking in. Like I have no judgment on Tuck, man, in all seriousness, yo. And just to see him lead the team under the way that he is, not on his own, free will, it bothers me, Bobby. It does, man. And not to say EDC is wrong. Like, he got to do what he got to do. I mean, in all fairness, like, I'm torn, though, man. I am, man.
The Ravens were in a position where they were forced to respect the legal process and at the same time protect their asses.
Right.
And that's twofold. Protect their asses with the way that they use the language in response to this, which is why they continue to refer to it as a football decision. You can't refer to it as anything else until the investigation is concluded. And then ultimately you have a job, you have a priority, and the Ravens' priority, Eric DeCosta's priority, and this front office's priority was to ensure that they had insurance. And that's exactly what they went and did 2 weekends ago.
Yeah,
And
I really
so,
didn't. I'm sorry, Bobby. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. And I just, the finish to that thought is that they were in a position where that was really all they could do. Now, what do they have to answer to moving forward now that this news has come out? Well, remember, they said they would follow the NFL's lead based on the investigation and the ultimate results. Well, guess what?
Wow.
They just went and made their own lead by making this decision before the investigation ultimately is finalized. So, what changed throughout that process? I don't know. That's a question that reporters will be asking the higher ups at some point the next time they're behind a mic.
First response to that, I'm just going to say maybe they don't want to deal with the media whirlwind that's going to come with that if we keep him throughout the season. Who knows? But
Well, and Torres, you just made a good point, because think about it. If they are indeed viewing Tyler as their future, which they just used a 6th-round pick on him, so I think it's pretty darn clear that that's the case, then think about Justin's presence, the presence that he's built, the presence that he's earned in that locker room, in that building. And when you're a rookie trying to make the transition that's already extremely challenging, given that add-on, you got to wonder if that's a factor in this as well.
it's going to be tough for Lop. Justin was ushered in through the Wolf Pack, you know what I mean? And now Justin was the last of the Mohicans. So now, like you said, Lop is on his own. I was not anticipating none of this to happen, especially so soon and so sudden. But props to EDC, man, because I don't know if I would have been able to make that decision. I'm gonna be honest, Bobby. I really don't. But I respect it though, man. I respect it, yeah.
There's a lot to process, brother, and I want to allow everybody else to process this thing publicly if they're interested in doing so. So I'm gonna let you go, my man. It was great to hear from you.
Bobby.
Hey, give me a call now and again. You know, it's been a minute. All right, I hit the off season. My man forgets about me. You know, goodness gracious. We'll catch up soon, brother.
All right, man.
Later, man. Guest lines are open, guys. I just pinned the comment to make it easier for you, because there's a lot of people in the waiting room that want to get involved, that want to share a thought on what really is a momentous day when it comes to the history of the Ravens organization. It's one that will be remembered for a very long time, and it's the end of the Justin Tucker era in Baltimore and the beginning of Tyler Loop's opportunity that he is now receiving, that he has now earned in the eyes of scouts, in the eyes of the Ravens higher-ups, in the eyes of the Ravens organization. And, of course, it's all due to Justin's release. The Ravens just released Justin Tucker within the hour. We know what's hanging over his head as of right now. He's been accused of accused of inappropriate behavior by 16 massage therapists from 8 different Baltimore spas and wellness centers. Of course, these alleged incidents occurred during personal sessions of his between 2012, his rookie season, and 2016. That spanned, of course, his first 5 seasons in the National Football League. He has publicly disputed these allegations twice, including a statement. Again, he referred to the Baltimore Banner's reporting as unequivocally false, and that is where we stand right now. I see some of you asking, before we get back to the guest lines here, I see some of you asking about the post-June 1 designation. That is what the Athletics' Jeff Zaribek is reporting. Okay, so they are going to save $2.1 million on the 2025 cap as a result after June 1st, if that is indeed the move that they make, which, again, Jeff is typically spot on, and that's the reality of that. Brian McFarland also noting a few other notes is here as well. Ravens salary cap analyst. He says the Ravens had one of their 2 post-June 1 designations remaining, the first of which was used on Marcus Williams, who they parted ways with. They clearly chose not to use the second one on Michael Pierce due to Justin's situation. Pierce's retirement will be transacted after June 1st. So that's the reality there. There is no more guaranteed money left in Justin Tucker's contract. So there's no future guaranteed money to void. There's nothing to get out of it. I'm reading directly from Brian's reporting. The dead money that will hit this year and next is for bonuses that are already paid to him and must now be accounted for on the cap, one of which is right there. You see it, $4.645 million in dead money will be placed on the 26 cap. And again, that is due to bonuses that have already been paid out. So that's the financial side of things. Back to the guest lines we go. I know a lot of you are whether I don't know if it's running hot is the right way or just running with lots of emotions. You're trying to process what something is not exactly surprising. I don't think there's nothing a surprise about this, but something did change with the Ravens messaging. And I don't think there's any question about that. They went from following the NFL's lead with this ongoing investigation to going and nipping it in the bud, right? They made their own decision regardless of what took place and what is taking place behind the scenes, which they're not privy to and we're not privy to when it comes to the NFL's legal investigation. Back to the guest lines we go. Nate and Julian and Manny are all in the waiting room. There's more of you that I can't even see right now because that's how many are calling in. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I'll just go in chronological order in terms of the way that you came in, and we'll throw this up here as well. It's Eric DaCosta's statement. Manny, give me your instant reaction, brother.
Bye, Felicia. That's my instant reaction to it. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, you're done with this.
Let me put it this way. Regardless of allegations, I was done with Tucker because he was literally costing us games. It was costing us the momentum. And like I said in a few streams back, it's like, even if it wasn't a momentum turner, Tucker making the field goal, but at least you get something. You can say, oh, well, we got something. We can work on it, and then we can shift the momentum if we score a touchdown. That kind of stuff. I mean, even we were national news. 22 points from Tucker alone. 5 games on his shoulders, on football-wise. So, yes, I was very done with him. The allegation is just more sort of the cherry on top of this.
This is what it comes down to for me. Ben noting a few percentages, a few statistics that I've already shared. 28th in field goal percentage a year ago. And that was at 73.3%. He was tied for 15th in 2023 at 86.5%. Again, 2 metrics for his standards that were shocking.
Yep.
That were stunning. And as Ben notes, when you combine on-field struggles with alleged off-field struggles, that does kind of equal an issue. And we all remember what you just said about the point totals that he left off the board. We all remember the impact that he had on that December 1st game against the Philadelphia Eagles in what was a massive one going into the bye week, really kind of a deflating way to go into the bye week. And so when you put all those things into consideration, that's where they sit right now, brother. Appreciate your instant reaction.
Yeah, it's sad to see him go, but hey, that's in a sense of way he on the field, speaking on the field, not allegations, on the field, his career was taking a dump and he couldn't fix it. And you know what? Your past glories don't account for the present sins. So bye.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
I'm going to try and get as many people in here as possible. I will catch up with you soon, dude. As always, I just cut you off. I'm sorry. It's that kind of day. We'll get you back soon. Don't you worry. Justin's resume will never be questioned. An 8-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, named the 2010s All-Decade team by the league. We all remember the 66-yarder as time expired in Detroit, breaking the hearts of all Lions fans. They've had plenty of heartbreak as it goes. 417 of 468 career field goals. That's good for the highest career field goal percentage in NFL history. That's 89.1% with a minimum of 100 attempts. But as we just noted, it hasn't been good in recent seasons, including last year where he was 22 of 30. That's 73.3%. He was 5 of 8 between 40 and 49. He was 6 of 11 from 50 50 plus, and he also missed a couple extra points. And that's on top of, again, 2023, which Ben's statistics that I just had up on the screen a second ago showed you that while it was still an 86.5% field goal percentage, that was tied for 15th. That's a middle of the pack type of statistical representation for Justin Tucker, which we've grown accustomed to be stunned with those kind of numbers when you have a career percentage of 89.1%. Back to the guest lines in just a second. Joe Jenkins dropped in a super chat. I'll get to as many as I possibly can, and I always prioritize super chats, as you guys know. Joe writes, if Justin is wrongly accused, I hope he's picked up by someone else and kicks our asses. That is what happens when you're falsely accused. The cat, is that a cat? Always falsely accuses. Yep, I said it. We don't know. All we know, Joe, is that this investigation continues. It is lingering at this point. And we also know, what are the facts? The facts are that 16 Baltimore area massage therapists, yes, it dates back to 2012 and 2016, but they allege sexual misconduct. It's 8 different Baltimore area spas and wellness centers. And that is where things stand right now. Justin, of course, as we all know, in his late January statement, referred to these accusations as unequivocally false. That came as a result of the reporting done by the Baltimore Banner. And that's where we stand right now. I'll continue to say, obviously, that something changed with the Ravens' approach to this. Messaging-wise, they went from, hey, we are following the NFL's lead, to, no, we're actually making this decision ourselves prior to the findings, prior to the results of this investigation being released. They will have to answer to that. I would assume there'll be a press conference at some point in the near future to address this. Back to the guest lines. I'm going chronological. I think it was Nate, Julian, and Dreams. Great to see you fellas down there in the waiting room. And we go to Nate right now. What's up, dude? Give me your thoughts. And you are currently muted. Now you're not. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for the call.
Hey, Bobby. Thanks for having me. I'm currently in upstate New York, or Western New York, up in Rochester, right behind the Kodak plant. But
you already know that part of the world, babe. Big part of my heart. Let's get it.
Yeah, I love Justin Tucker. I feel bad for him just because I know he's pretty religious. It's probably a tough situation for him. But I think just coming from the Ravens' perspective, it's just tricky with them not knowing. They probably put a lot of trust in him, but their hands are kind of tied. I would have loved to see him retire with the Ravens, but I think part of it's also media. I know you're in media, but whatever ends up coming of it, they're going to have to handle it if he's a player. They're probably still going to have to handle it if he isn't a player. So there's probably some back office stuff that they're dealing with. It broke my heart last season just seeing him struggle, but it's interesting as a fan to know, I guess, how long that they had been dealing with this in the back office. Was this something early that happened in the season, or was this something that they found out relatively recently? Because I love transparency as a fan, so I would have loved to know if it was something that was going on earlier, because it was really difficult to watch. I do hope
there, Nate, not to cut you off, but let me throw this out there because you got me thinking that I can probably share this now that this decision has been made by the team. But it was about midway through the season where I started to get a few rumblings from folks that made me wonder what was going on at home for Justin. And whatever it was that was going on at home, which I don't know the specifics on, made me wonder at the time, what's up with this potentially being related to Justin's struggles, Justin's lack of focus, Justin's lack of polish that we all watch play out. And so all I'm saying is, what I'm alluding to here is, I think that there was a perfect storm going on for Justin. And I am absolutely of the belief that this was not, okay, we can talk about technical placeholder work. We can talk about angles. We can talk about age, wear and tear, all we want. I think this was absolutely positively a psychological issue for Justin Tucker. I'll continue to believe that. And so I ultimately think that if he is indeed cleared by the NFL or sees punishment and ultimately faces that punishment like a Deshaun Watson had to several years ago, I do think that his football career is not over.
Yeah, he's always been very, very good. I was kind of thinking the same thing throughout the season. It's just tricky because we don't know the situation. It's always tricky if he's kind of putting himself in a position where something like this could happen. Hopefully it's not as serious as it is in the media, but yeah, it's a tricky situation. I wish the best for him. I hope him and his family are doing well. But yeah, it's tricky. Hopefully they at least gave him some notice too. It wasn't out of the blue. But I'm always going to love what he did for the team, and I appreciate you having me on, Bobby. I sent you a bunch of photos. I was watching all the Voltrons and you at the draft in Green Bay. So there's some live photos of your live stream right in the front row. But
Oh yeah,
I appreciate you
that's
having me
dope,
on.
dude.
Yeah, I sent it on Discord to you.
Where did you? Oh, geez. Okay. God,
It's all
I
good.
am so bad.
You were getting slammed. You did some amazing coverage, just back to back to back. So, yeah, if you want to use that for any of your channels or your show, feel free to. But yeah, I had you right in the front row. I
Thanks for the
appreciate your
heads up,
coverage.
dude. Thanks for the heads up, and I'm glad to hear that you were one of the hundreds of thousands that were roaming the streets of Green Bay. It looked like an incredible event from the outside looking in. So thanks for the call, dude.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Nate Thomas from Western New York. Guest lines are open, guys. I'll go to Julian and then Dreams. Oh, gosh, was that the order that you guys came in? I think it was, but appreciate you guys for being here. There's over 1,200 concurrents. Please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We are instantly reacting to news that doesn't necessarily come down as a surprise, but ultimately, when it comes to the history of this organization, this is a day that will be remembered for a long time. Justin is a Hall of Fame player. Justin is a Ring of Honor caliber kind of player. Justin is incredibly clutch, was extremely clutch for this organization. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's one of the best undrafted stories that this team will be able to talk about for a very long time. And unfortunately for him, unfortunately for his family, potentially, unfortunately for the accusers that are out there as these massage therapists with the alleged sexual misconduct that got this all started back in January. Justin's time in Baltimore certainly ends in a very, 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 what is even the right word? I don't even know the right word. It'll come to mind in just, whatever adjective that really represents it's kind of a dark ending to what's been an otherwise illustrious NFL career, maybe is the way to put it. And maybe his NFL career is not over, but his career in Baltimore is over. And back to the guest lines we go. Julian, got to get your thoughts on this. Justin is no longer a Raven. It's the Tyler Loop era, which has officially begun. Really, it really began well early on, I would think, in the pre-draft process when they started to kind of take shape of what their offseason priorities from a team building perspective would be. And now here it is. Number 33 will be the new number 9. I have no idea if he's going to be able to live up to one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all times track record. But that's where we stand right now. Where are you at?
Well, Bobby, I'm not going to get into the allegations because I think we talked about it long enough. What I will say is that for as long as I've been a fan of this team and since Justin Tucker has been here, he's always been my bathroom break. You know what I'm saying? Every time he's come on, I was like, oh, time to use the bathroom because I know he's going to make it. That's just how I treated it. But people will say, yeah, he's missed some kicks last year, but I'll go back to even 2023. He's missed some kicks during that season. And I still haven't gotten over the kick he missed against the Saints when they came here. You know, when I think it was Drew Brees' kind of his last go around with that game. So he's had a little bit of a decline going through that, but we didn't really like think too much of it because it's him. You know, it's Justin. You know, we were just like, all right, he'll fix it. It's nothing. But last year, you kind of saw him taking a real big dip in his production, and I guess whatever was going on with this situation that was going on with him affected him, like you said, that came into play, but his production didn't match what was going on. And ultimately, like I said, I agree with Torres. I'm kind of split. I'm torn about it because, you know, he's become like I can't even put into words what he was. Like next to Lamar, he's the second most important person in Baltimore, like sports wise. But we all saw the writing on the wall. I mean, this was coming, and you know, It's just kind of bittersweet, though. I'll just say that it's really bittersweet, but we got to move on. Hopefully, Tyler Loop is the guy that does well. He's not going to fit. He's not going to be what Justin Tucker was, but we're going to see what he does with us. I mean, George's still out on him, but we'll see. But like I said, it's kind of bittersweet.
I think that's a good way of putting it, brother. I appreciate your thoughts. I'm going to try and get as many others in here as well, just to kind of make sure that we get as many much of a revolving door as we can today. And it was good catching up with you. Not under these circumstances, but we'll do it again soon, brother.
Absolutely, Bobby. See you.
All right, Joel. Talk to you soon. Keep enjoying that off season. Dreams, and then Robbie's up next. If you're just tuning in, Justin Tucker's Ravens release has been finalized just a short while ago. I mean, we've already been on for 40 minutes, so it's probably coming up on 2 hours since this was released. But Eric DeCosta's statement read as follows: sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing for the Ravens. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in this next chapter of their lives. Justin, you've seen his resume. You understand his resume. You understand this dude's fortitude, this dude's clutch gene, and you also understand what has been clouding over him now for months, and that is the allegations, right, of 16 massage therapists from 8 different Baltimore spas and wellness centers, something that he has unequivocally denied. He referred to the accusations as unequivocally false, as reported by the Baltimore Banner, and that is where things stand right now with Justin. The league's investigation continues, and I guess maybe the only surprising part of this entire thing is that the Ravens decided to move forward without the completion of the investigation, something that they have said throughout the entire time was something that they were waiting on and following. They were following the NFL's lead. Something changed. They went ahead and drafted Tyler Loop in the 6th round out of Arizona. The investigation continues, and the Ravens are moving forward. Back to the guest lines we go. Queon, my guy down in Central Virginia. Good to see you, my friend. Your instant reaction to this as well.
I feel like we all seen it coming. It was there. I feel like after we drafted Tyler Luke, I was like, yeah, this is going to be the beginning of the end of the Tucker era. I mean, I was at the Cowboys and Eagles games last year, and just watching him miss in person, like you can tell something psychological and something just going on. This wasn't right. Like, I think the Cowboys game, I was walking around like I'm just about to make this, and then you hear the crowd going because it was an away game. I'm like, there's no way he missed this kick. He missed another kick. I think he missed 2 kicks in the Cowboys game. And in the Eagles game, we lost that by him missing field goals. So I feel like the writing was just on the wall. And, it sucks as a football player. He was great. Lots of memories, but like these accusations had to be serious enough for Baltimore to go ahead and release him. I feel like if he was just an ordinary person, he would have been released. But because Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker in NFL history, they had no choice, but they just wanted to play it out and see how true it actually was.
Hey, do us all a favor and take out that headset if you could and go on speaker for us. But you're right. This is a player that is a Ring of Honor, a future Ring of Honor member, you would think. Obviously, got to see how the NFL ultimately comes down with this investigation. This is potentially a future Hall of Famer. And this is somebody that was a sure thing for a very, very long time in Baltimore. So much so, like I said earlier on, synonymous with the 8s, the 52s, the 20s that are often worn on game days in purple around the stadium, around the tailgate atmosphere, around the bank. You can see almost an equivalent amount of 9s. And I think you can go pretty much to every single organization around the league and go to their game day experiences, and you're probably not going to find a kicker that was beloved as much as Justin Tucker was, and in some parts still is and will always be in and around Baltimore. And so, look, there's a lot of questions that remain, moving forward. Who is Tyler Loop? Is he capable of not only dealing with the pressure and the spotlight that he now walks into, trying to succeed Justin Tucker. But who is
Well,
the
the
player?
jokes have already started with the Cleveland Browns already. So,
Oh, what are they saying?
I think I seen one that was like the Cleveland Browns get ready to set the market for Justin Tucker being the highest paid kicker.
Oh, I hadn't seen that yet. But yeah, if history repeats itself, Justin's going to be just fine with another team, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not signed the next couple of months, I think it's over. That's just me personally.
I think he's going to get a shot. We got to see what he's going to ultimately have to serve here. Punishment-wise, I have to think the league will come down with something. But then again, this is a lingering investigation that's been months long at this point with no end in sight. I just saw a short while ago here, one of the CBS insiders noting that he just heard from the NFL that there is no update on the current situation. So instead of the Ravens kind of waiting and it being in the NFL's hands, they decided to take it into their own hands. And that's how we got today. Appreciate your dreams.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it, Bob.
Good to talk to you, man. Queon, my guy, never misses a live stream. Dude's as consistent as it gets. Let's go to Robbie here in just a second. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you want to share a thought with me on this day, go click the link that's a pinned comment right now in the live chat. Please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server because there is a ton of chatter right now as everybody starts to kind of process what is now reality, and that is the end of Justin Tucker's era in Baltimore. That is what we are now trying to react to, trying to make sense of. Let's see how Robbie's doing exactly that. Good to see you, my friend. How you feeling today?
I'm good. This is sad to hear, obviously, but, we knew it was coming. Like everybody's been saying, like, I feel like that Eagles game was really, the big thing, especially with the hard knocks, and, like, everything that was highlighted about the Ravens. I feel like, once that Eagles game happened and then, what was it, like their bye week was around that time and, everybody was questioning like, hey, what's going on with Tucker? I kind of felt like that was a writing on the wall. And then, when they got Loop, as soon as I saw I was looking at some tape online. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, Tucker's going to be gone after this. Like seeing that 62-yarder, I was like, oh shoot, it's over. But
Yeah. The writing was on the wall, Robbie, but I'm still of the belief that I really do believe this. And you want to know why I believe this actually? And I've been wanting to play this clip for the first 50 minutes of the show, and I just haven't gotten around to it because I've wanted to get as many people involved as possible. But this clip from Bill Belichick, before he accepted the UNC job, before his love life blew up in the media and the public eye, which has been a whole nother story. But Bill Belichick gave his thoughts from his perspective. Obviously, a lot of people's GOAT, so I'm not going to argue with that. I think he's the GOAT.
right.
Would he have been the GOAT without Tom? That's a conversation for another time. But, and did Tom go and prove it that he is the undisputed GOAT and didn't need Bill? Yes, he certainly did.
Yeah.
But this segment from the McAfee show, when he was doing regular appearances on the McAfee show, tells me what I already know and kind of reaffirms what I already know. And I'll tell you what that is right after this clip. Listen to this.
About the way that Coach Harbaugh is handling it. When I look at Tucker, I don't see a lack of talent. He still has great height on the ball. The ball, travels with plenty of distance. Clearly, there's some fundamental technique thing that he's not doing consistently, and that's caused him to miss both to the left and to the right. So I think, what I would do is keep working on the fundamentals and the technique of the kick. I don't think there's a lack of talent. I think it's fundamentally there's just something that's not quite right here. And I'm sure that Justin and Coach Harbaugh and the whole operation, the holder, the snapper, are all trying to get this down. I think he's definitely capable of doing it, but like you said, there's nobody else out there that has more experience or has mentally been in more situations than Tucker has. I think I would go with Tucker.
Robbie, I got to tell you, that's just Bill's outsider perspective. But what that tells me is that this was absolutely a psychological setback that was putting Justin in the position that he was in the last Well, I can't say the last 2 seasons because I don't think he was aware that this would be coming down in 2023. But I think he was more than aware that not only stuff at home was not right in season, but that potentially an investigation could be coming as well. So, look, what were we doing all second half of the year? We were essentially grasping for straws, right? Grasping at straws when it comes to trying to come up with an explanation that made sense for Justin's struggles, and we couldn't come up with it. For God's sakes, we were going after Jordan Stout. People were going after the holder, the placeholder.
I saw him at the train station during the bye week.
Who did?
I did.
Jordan?
No, I saw Justin at the train station during the bye week. So it was just like, it's crazy just to see all this go down. And also we'll say, EDC is EDC, with the money stuff, because we're talking about the cap stuff, right? So if he can pinch some pennies where he can, that's what he's gonna do. So
thanks, brother.
We love Tucker, and I watch that Detroit 66-yard field goal all the time.
How can you not? It's one of the most iconic kicks in the history of the National Football League. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So, hey, I appreciate your reaction today, brother. It was great to see your face, and thank you for all the continued support that you give the channel.
Thanks, Bobby.
Absolutely. Robbie Pate up there in the Northeast, baby. Boston's finest. Hey, quick little pause here because I'm just figuring this out. My father is absolutely ripping a troll right now in the live chat, and that just made my night. I'm just catching up on this right now. Fat Country, I'm not saying this is his screen name. Fat Country Boy is getting absolutely rocked right now by my father. That is fantastic. Hey, Fat Country Boy, you got anything to say to that? My dad is putting you to sleep right now. You want to come on the show? Share a thought? I'm just realizing this. This is awesome. Hey, Fat Country Boy, why don't you come on the show, big dog? Come on. Guest lines are open, baby. We got an instant react. We got over 1,300 concurrents right now. You gonna stand tall on that one or fall flat? Which one are you gonna do? Because what happens is when you come in this channel and you start barking, you got to answer to it. So come on. There's a pinned comment right now in the live chat, Fat. Come on. Let's go. Well, you think that I'm going to keep talking about Justin? I've already covered it. Guest lines are open, baby. You got to remember, when you come in this live chat and start talking like that, there's repercussions. There's nothing physical or violent repercussions, but repercussions that require you to come on the show and put that money where your mouth is. Let's see what happens. Big dog. Francis Trosset checking in the live chat. Robbie was just asking about the monetary side of things. And I want to go back to Brian McFarland's notes that he's been diligently updating us on from a salary cap perspective. Okay, because this has been a reported June 1 designation, post June 1 designation. And that was reported by Jeff Zaribek of The Athletic, who's typically money. Okay. Brian was floating out a couple different scenarios prior to that reporting, and what he said here stands. They're going to save $2.1 million on the 2025 salary cap, okay? But that doesn't go into effect until after June 1, under a month from now. But they will carry dead money into the 2026 overall outlook. That number is specifically right there, 4.645, okay? Ravens had one of their two post-June 1 designations remaining, the first of which was used on Marcus Williams earlier this offseason. They clearly chose not to use the second one on Michael Pierce due to what was looming with Justin. So Michael's retirement will be transacted after June 1st. There is no more guaranteed money left on Justin's contract. Okay, so there's no future guaranteed money to void. There's nothing to get out of it. The dead money that will hit this year and next is for bonuses that have already been paid out to him and must now be accounted for on the cap. That is directly from Brian McFarland. That's the salary cap implications and repercussions of this decision. But again, if you're just tuning in, we've been going now for close to an hour. The guest lines are still open. Justin Tucker's Ravens career has come to an end. And I guess all that really remains is what will be the next situation, football situation for Justin Tucker if he is indeed cleared by the National Football League. I still think he has more left to give. I do. The numbers don't necessarily suggest it. But again, I'm putting a lot of merit onto what he's been dealing with off the field that I think has a direct correlation to his on-field struggles. He had a field goal percentage of 73.3 last year, guys. That was 28th league-wide, okay? He was tied for 15th the year prior in 23 at 86.5%. He was 5 of 8 from 40-plus, between 40 and 49 to be exact last year. He was 6 of 11 from 50-plus. He also missed 2 extra points, and one game that comes to mind that Robbie and others have mentioned, deservedly so, is the Philadelphia loss, because that was an absolute heartbreaker. So now really the question becomes, who is Tyler Loop? Is he capable of handling the limelight and the pressure that comes with this situation? Adam Schefter just tweeted out some context about Tyler Loop. There is a Wyoming kicker by the name of John Hoyland, by the way, at rookie minicamp. He is a tryout candidate as an undrafted rookie. This is film from rookie minicamp, tweeted by Morgan Adsit of Fox 45 here locally in Baltimore. 33 is Tyler. 3 is Hoyland. Again, the Wyoming minicamp undrafted tryout guy. Loop has a big leg. He was viewed as one of the biggest, if not the biggest legs in the entire draft. There's Anthony Levine standing behind him as a special teams assistant. Chris Horton, of course, is a special teams coordinator, and Randy Brown is one of the assistants as well. He's been in Baltimore a long time. They clearly saw something in Tyler. They went away from Fitzgerald and Borregales, who were sort of seen universally by the kicking and scouting world coming out of this year's class as the top 2 guys. Instead, they go with the biggest leg, a guy who converted from 62 a year ago at Arizona. He was 18 of 23. He was 6 of 9 from 50-plus. And ultimately, he finished with a field goal percentage of 78.3, a number that actually declined significantly over his last few years. He was 12 for 12, a perfect 100%, 12 for 12 back in 21 after redshirting 2020. In 22, he was 18 of 21 for an 85.7 field goal percentage. He then dropped to 79.2. And then, again, his senior year, his 5th season, 78.3. So you don't like the decline on that, the fact that those numbers are steadily going south. But that's the situation. More here from Brian McFarland on numbers that I want to get to you in just a second. And while I pull that up, why don't we just go to what John Harbaugh had to say, just so that we're all keeping up to speed with the messaging and the way the team has handled this. This was just yesterday at the Ravens press conference when he was asked about what the current situation is, where the investigation is with Justin Tucker. And again, this was prior to today's statement and ultimate release of Justin.
He's been in the building the last couple of weeks, kicking and everything, and got a chance to talk a little bit. Been working hard. I would just say, like, from a standpoint of the investigation and all that, I mean, we don't know anything. I mean, we haven't been given any information, and that, as it should be, it's all done the way it's done. So we don't know anything along those lines, so we can't make any decisions based on that. Every decision we make has to be based on football. There's a lot of layers to that. You've got a rookie kicker in here. You took him in the 6th round, early in the 6th round. He's a talented guy. Just from a football standpoint, salary cap, all the different things that you just take into consideration. Whatever we decide to do over the next few weeks will be based on football.
That gave me a chance to do 2 things. Again, 1, scroll through the comments that I just missed because you can't host a show and also see what Fat Country Boy's saying. And also 2, I wanted to get this thought in from Brian McFarland, which is just more financial reality of where the Ravens currently stand given that the reporting from Jeff Zaribek has been and will be Justin viewed as a post-June 1 designation. So the Ravens will receive post-June 1, okay, 2.1 for Marcus Williams. He was a post-June 1 and will be a post-June 1 designation. 4.2 million for Justin and 1.255 for Michael Pierce's retirement. What I see here is an opportunity to maybe fill in a little bit of depth at a position of need. What that position would be, I'd have to think about that. Sarah and I will definitely do a segment or two about that in the coming days. Maybe tackle. I know they just brought in Note Boom a little while ago. Joseph Noteboom, the veteran tackle from LA. So, I mean, you can never have enough tackles. You can never have enough corners, even though they have a slew of them right now. I'll think about it. You guys let me know, too, if you feel like there's a position of need out there that perhaps could use depth. Brian notes that each of those will be offset. Each of these post-June 1 designations, each of those will be offset by $960,000 for their Rule of 51 replacement. So the net cap space received will be $4.675 million. Okay. So over 4.6 to choose to play with. There are other, obviously, allocations. You have to make sure you have the proper money for all these draft picks to form a practice squad. Right. We'll have Brian on this week to get an update across the board. But that's that. That's the financial reality in wake of Justin Tucker's release. It'll be $4.2 million. But again, each of these, Williams, Tucker, and Pierce's retirement, are going to be offset by $960K. And you're looking at a 4.675 number that the Ravens will be realizing as a result of this decision made. So there you have it. Got a lot of different thoughts. And Juju Bean, I just saw you in the waiting room. If you want to turn your camera on, I'd love to have you on before I jump. We've been going 60 plus minutes, and I don't think that fat country boy's showing up anytime soon, which is too bad because the guest line's wide open for him, and I would love to have this dance, but apparently he doesn't. Juju, give me the thumbs up if you're ready to go, brother. Let's get you in here and get your instant reaction to Justin's release. Good to have you, man. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, just want to give a little input on it. It's just like I kind of seen it coming, and even if the allegations or anything kind of died down, I legitimately don't think that they would have brought him back for any reason. Just like even with the controversy of everything, even if they were kind of they didn't get any information or the NFL didn't find anything, I couldn't see him coming back, especially how last year went. But I mean, yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I think that the Ravens were in a position where it's been an interesting offseason when it comes to the messaging around this. And I touched on it early on in the stream. I'll do it again now because I think people are coming in and out, and we've got well over 1,300 live right now. So I will repeat this. But remember, they went from putting the ball in the NFL's court to taking the shot themselves. They have said all along that they were going to follow the NFL's lead, and they were going to wait for this investigation. Now, did they come out and say we're literally waiting for the investigation before we make a decision? I don't know if those specific words have been used, but it was, I mean, I would surmise it that way, that they were kind of waiting for the findings. And ultimately, 2 weeks ago, they go ahead and use 6th round draft capital on a kicker that they liked for insurance purposes. And the investigation's lingering. Rookie minicamp is here. Mandatory minicamp is a month away. And they knew, let's be honest, this was going to be a media shitstorm, even more so than it already was. And if you feel like your future is Tyler Loop and you want to best put him in a position for success, this was the only conclusion.
Yeah, there's no way they would have let him out on the practice field, questions every single day, to asking Tyler Loop, what do you think about the allegations? Like, it would have been too much. So I mean, yeah, I think me and you agree on that. There was really no choice they kind of had here. They're just trying to get ahead of the the storm before mini camp and all the camps kind of start up, so they don't have to worry about it. So, but yeah, it
No
was good
question,
talking
brother.
to you, man.
No question. Yeah, thanks so much for the call, dude. Talk soon.
All right, peace.
Juju Bean with some good thoughts there. Just got a super chat from Kushranada, who writes, "What are your thoughts on getting another space eater to compete in camp? We could use some interior big men to take up linemen for Green and Van Noy and Owe." You just answered my question. You just answered my own question that I was asking myself just in the moment when I figured out the money that they were going to get after these post June 1 designations. It's nose tackle. You got to bring in a backup nose tackle because right now that guy's not on the roster. So who's backing up Travis Jones? That would be the answer to my own question that I posed a few minutes ago. But the more interior defensive linemen you can bring in, right, whether they're camp bodies or depth, as Tilly shakes and her collar flies around and jiggles. What are you doing, little ghoul? She probably wants to go outside. Yeah, that would be my thought. Interior defensive line, nose tackle. That's an area that should have been the first thing on my mind for sure. And I know they have an undrafted rookie, right? I believe they have at least one undrafted rookie that they brought in. One of who, you know what? Let me just bring up this from earlier because Sarah and I, it's just in a different file from earlier that Sarah and I discussed. Thanks for the super chat, Kushernada, and thank you all for being here. The guest lines are still open. I'd say I'm waiting for the country boy, but he ain't showing up because he's not about it. He just doesn't have it. I think honestly, my dad put him to sleep. I hope he has a good night's sleep. Gotta love Francis standing 10 toes down. This was the list that the team released. This is the 17 undrafted rookie free agents that have signed. Where's the nose tackle on here? But I know that obviously Nash has made a lot of hay, right? This has garnered a lot of attention. Nash Hutmaker. He's one of the undrafted free agency signings. Wrestling stud. Nebraska nose tackle. Look at this beast. But I don't believe he is listed on that group, right? He's not on here, is he? I'm just pulling this thing up in real time. So you got a defensive tackle by the name of Jason Jones. He's, oh my Lord, he's 6'6", 325, played his college football at Auburn. That's insane. 6'6", 325. Did he play for Auburn hoops? You sure we don't have that right? Did he play Auburn basketball? Watch, he did, and I'm just like oblivious right now. But this is the list. Back to the guest lines we go. Still over 1,400 concurrents. Like the video. Join the Discord. A lot of Justin Tucker chatter in there right now if you guys want to mix it up. William, what's up, my friend? Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going today?
I'm great, man. Give me your thoughts on Justin's release.
I ain't gonna lie, this is definitely an end of an era. Not the best way of an end of an era, but as a person who grew up watching Matt Stover kick and how much of a name he had made for himself in the Ravens lore, I saw this kicker basically pretty much erase Stover from the Ravens history books, slowly but surely over his time. And he just became like the new face when it came to like special teams. I think the biggest memory I have of Justin was when he made that kick in Detroit, which broke the record. That was just astounding. It was amazing. It's horrible when any player goes down like this with the whole allegations and the attention it brings to the team and stuff like that. So I think it was that. And I don't know, maybe you could bring a little bit more light to this, detail to this. But for me, I know that sometimes the Ravens do have a tendency to keep on the players a little longer than they should when they start to decline. And after last season, I felt like there definitely was some decline there with the consistency. Like we definitely noticed that he wasn't as automatic as we were used to seeing him, especially beyond the 50. So I'm wondering if that also played into hands as well. Like I feel like if this was still prime Justin Tucker, I don't know. He might still have been on the team, but after last season, along with what's going on in the offseason, out of off the field issues, I think it just kind of made that decision a little bit easier. Maybe you could, I don't know if you agree or not, but it just kind of felt that way.
Yes, I do agree. It's a perfect storm. Ultimately, they had to protect themselves and get an insurance policy. That's what they did in the draft. And something changed in recent weeks. They have changed their messaging. They went from leaning on the NFL, waiting on the NFL, so to speak, to making this own decision today and officially beginning a new era at kicker in Baltimore. So, William, thanks for your thoughts, dude. Appreciate you for being here.
Have a good one.
Thanks for the call, dude. Guest lines are still popping right now. You got to love the fact that I got to love that Fat Boy Country never showed. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. There's nothing more satisfying than these guys barking in the live chat. You invite them on to your platform, and then they go rogue. They go solo. Where you go? Where is he? Where's the country boy at? And I tell you what, Mr. Rory here he's got to be new to the show because he says I'm a simp. That's why you had feminine feelings on this. Feminine feelings on what? The Justin situation or the Fat Boy Country situation? Because I think you might be new to the show. What we do here is if you start barking in the live chat, it's pretty simple stuff. You get an invitation, a public invitation to go screen by screen with me and have a conversation. And a lot of people, unlike David Cure, my guy down in the Carolinas, who loves to talk shit, by the way, a lot of people wither away. And that's what Fat Boy Country has done today, folks. He has withered away into infamy. That's that. That's his legacy. That's his legacy in this channel. Back to the guest lines. I digress. What'd I say, Junior? Good to see you, my friend. Give me your thoughts, your instant reaction, everything. Thanks for the call.
Oh, no problem, man. It's good to see you again. Can I curse on here?
Absolutely.
Hey, man, listen. What's his name? Fat Country? Quit being a pussy, dog. Man, get on this bitch. Because the more you talk on there, like in our chat, the more we're going to go after you, man. Just come on in and say what's up and take the business. That's all you got to do, and then you can move on, dog. Like,
hey, I got a new server name for you instead of what I say. How about what I said? That's what he said.
Let's go get it, man. Come on now. He can't hide. I might have to take you up on that, though, Bob.
I love it. What you got for me on the Justin thoughts? Your thoughts? It's obviously a day of a lot of emotion, the end of an era, a lot of different layers to this situation. Obviously, it's been lingering for quite a while now. And as a Ravens fan today, how would you describe the roller coaster of processing this?
Business decision. Get him out of there.
Okay.
If him, Mark Andrews, I think I said in the chat, we care about winning and that's it. If you are a distraction to that, bounce. I don't care.
I think that's a very wise angle to take. It's a business, and the Ravens were forced to protect their business, protect their assets, protect the team building integrity process that goes into fielding, a group, a roster, building that. And that's what ultimately led them to obviously selecting the successor, who we now know is the official successor and will attempt to become the successor of Justin Tucker. You got anything else for me, dude?
If John Harbaugh is the special teams coach that we think he's going to be, then our kicker will be just fine.
That's a good thought, too. This is widely regarded as one of the top destinations, if not the top destination, for special teams, for kicking, so on and so forth. So time to reaffirm that.
Oh, also Dreams. Shout out my guy, Jaden Higgins. We out here.
The Iowa State wide receiver that ended up hearing his name called by Houston. And my God, Dreams has been singing his praises for what feels like months.
Hey, he was it. Also, I'm in Iowa, man. Come to it.
You're in Iowa?
It's only me. Yeah, man. ISU. I used to live in Ames for a minute. That's where I grew up at. So I knew all about Jay Higgins. He's a dog, man. He's a dog.
That's dope. Good for you, man. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Man, guest lines are cooking right now. And the funny part about them cooking is that Fat Country Boy, the only thing he's cooking right now, he's attempting to cook with his fingertips because he can't use his fingertips to click the link that's right now chilling in the live chat. You want to know why? Because he's small. He is small and insignificant, but I want him to give him a chance. I want to give him a chance to be significant on these airwaves right now with 1,432 concurrents staring right at him. And we want to see if you can bark with them all. Can you bark with the big dogs? Because when you come for the big dog, you got to remember that if you can't put your fingers and your fingertips where your mouth is, it's really the opposite. If you can't put your mouth where your fingertips is, you got issues. I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I got time too. We're coming up on an hour and 30. I got more guest calls to get to in a second here. The more live chats that come in here, Fat, I'm gonna keep giving you what you want, Fat. I promise you. I'm gonna keep getting you what you want. Chronologically, let's see. Nate, it's gotta be quick because this is your second time, and I got Dre and Rafika and Kyle in here, but you've been waiting. It's chronological, but it's got to be in and out, my friend. What you got?
Super fast. With Cook, do you think there's ever a point where if he's cleared from the allegations, you might want him back? I would have loved to see him as a coach, kind of like Cook was and for the punters, but I don't know. With the allegations, it kind of muddies everything. I would love to see him just stay with the Ravens in that capacity.
Oh, you're talking about a role once Justin's playing career is over.
Yeah, like to advise some of the newer kickers and just kind of help them out. I mean, he's been legendary, but obviously it wouldn't make sense if he's not cleared. If he was cleared, is it something that you feel like you would feel comfortable him coming back in a coaching role? Or do you think it's just too much now at this point?
Yeah, I think it's the latter of those things. If Justin shows an interest and it's years down the line, maybe there's a conversation to be had. But kicker and punter, we obviously know. And I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna give some thoughts on this, Nate. Appreciate the call, dude. I think it's a good conversation. Obviously, sort of with a big picture mindset. You know, the difference in terms of limelight, public figure status, notoriety between punter and kicker, unless you're a Pat McAfee, of course, is significant. What do I mean by that? I think Justin could be seen as a little bit of a distraction, whereas Sam, one of the greatest punters in Ravens history, if not the greatest punter, and a Ring of Honor player, and somebody who is synonymous with this town, Super Bowl champion, right? Really became an architect of the different style punts that one can do at his position, and really is viewed as somebody that was transcendent in a lot of ways at his position. Different notoriety, different public figure levels, right? Less of a distraction. And so right now, I don't know if I would see any benefit from that, but the Ravens have been very clear that over the years, they want to groom future coaches. Look at Anthony Levine. He's back as an assistant. Sam Cook is still with the organization. Chris Horton is a former player, now special teams coordinator. So I guess I wouldn't rule it out, but it's certainly not the first thing that comes to mind. Back to the guest lines we go. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. We're obviously processing, reacting, and analyzing what's taking place this evening. Justin Tucker's release. You see Eric DeCosta's statement on the screen, and now we get Rafike's thoughts. I'm so glad you called. Do I pronounce your name right?
It's Rafik.
Son of a bitch.
No, it's all right, man. It's okay. It's all right.
God.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right, man. It's
all right. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
I will
all right.
not make that mistake again. But give me your thoughts.
Yeah, two quick things. Yeah, it's a sad day. I mean, but it's Justin Tucker is my favorite. The legend. I have his jersey. I've had his signed football. When I judge minor kickers, I judge them by Justin Tucker. He's the greatest kicker in NFL history. But I think with the allegations being the allegations, it had to happen. So I think it's just unfortunate. But I think that Ravens had to do what they had to do. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well said, Rafik. Appreciate the thought, brother.
Yep. And this one more thing, Fat Country, he doesn't want that smoke. So don't worry about that. He
wants absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he doesn't want that smoke. Yeah.
No question. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I think that's actually universally understood right now in the live chat. We'll have to see what Dre and Kyle have to say. And honestly, if Kyle ends up being my wingman or my bodyguard based on what he's wearing right now in the waiting room, Fat Country Boy stands absolutely no chance. I'll let you guys see for yourself in just a second. I got to go to Dre first, though, chronologically. But he's shaking his head down there with a little cutoff, looking like he just got out of a swole session. But look, a couple things on my mind here. One, love the thoughts here. Love the instant reaction. This is a raw day, right? There's raw emotion out there right now. And to be quite honest with you, despite me not, and I've always been open about this, you guys know this, despite me not labeling myself as a fan, if there's a guy that I want to emulate in a lot of ways when it comes to how unflappable he proved to be, how versatile he proved to be in life as an opera singer, as somebody who gave back to the community, as somebody who was a spokesman for a chain like Royal Farms, which really is Maryland, right? And obviously somebody that mastered his craft to the nth degree. We all want to master our craft the way that Justin has over a decade running, right? The longevity, the consistency, the clutch gene. And then the opportunity that I had when I joined the Ravens radio team to get to know Justin personally. And he went out of his way to welcome me, give me his time, give me his analysis. And ultimately, I really enjoyed getting to know Justin as a friend, as somebody that I covered at the time, and as somebody that I will see now and again as some freaking construction. I've been living in a construction pit. You're probably hearing it outside for weeks now in the Canton area. Maybe some of you guys can empathize with this because it literally has been weeks running. It's a water line project, and I'm about to lose my mind on one of the construction project managers. I don't want to lose my mind on him because he's just playing messenger and he's just doing his job. So I'll go to Mayor Scott instead. I might walk into his office tomorrow and see if he takes a meeting. Kidding. Long story short, I'm feeling just as conflicted as a lot of you guys are as well. Hope that comes across as the right way because I obviously respect the process, respect the allegations, respect every aspect of what's taking place. Back to the guest lines we go. Instantly reacting to what is this news. Ravens have released Justin Tucker. Dre, your thoughts today?
Yo, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yo, unfortunate end to a legendary career. I think with the media coverage with people like Shannon Sharp, Justin Tucker, Deshaun Watson, one of the themes that we're seeing is what I would say is a lot of the times when I deal with men with my life coaching, you have to have, I call it DD, right? And it stands for blank discipline. We know what we have down bottom as men. So fill in the blank with the other D, right? But we have to have that discipline. Not saying that what Justin did is confirmed or what Shannon did is confirmed or what Deshaun Watson, like these cases go back and forth so much. So I just want all the men and women, but specifically us men, yo, we gotta be disciplined when it comes to all matters of our bodies, of our minds, and our energy, because you know, one wrong move, one wrong mistake can really cost you a legacy. We're talking about dudes losing legacy, not you know, for nothing. These are dudes losing legacies behind not being disciplined enough. And it's so funny because these guys, well, not funny, but it's so ironic that these guys are sports players. And it's like the amount of discipline that a guy like Shannon Sharp did with his body, did with his craft. Justin Tucker, greatest kicker of all times. You know, you look at these guys and like, how in that arena are you so disciplined? And then when we remove you from that arena, potentially, when you get around women, you just can't control yourself or make the right decision.
I think that's such a great point, and we can all, whether it goes both ways of the aisle, but mostly this is about men when it comes to the discipline side of the sexual feelings and emotions and hormones that are all out there. And we all have had to deal with that. I've had to even check myself at times. Smaltimore can get Smaltimore real quick.
Yeah.
Right. And we all, I think back to college and you think back to moments that maybe you want back. And of course, this is to a much lesser extent, right? And you just start to really check yourself when things like this happen because you want to give yourself that ultimate reminder. DD. I like it. And I think that really relates. Appreciate the call, brother.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Catch up with you soon. Let's bring Kyle in here. This will be the last one of the night. And then I'll actually have one closing message, which has nothing to do about Justin Tucker and has nothing to do about sports, which I really want to get your thoughts on it. It's going to be an interesting little incident that took place on Saturday night with me in Canton after hours. So that's coming up in just a second here. But first, the last caller of the night to instantly react about Justin Tucker's release is Kyle Joyce. And let me just preface this. Let me give him his due here on the way in. Listen, Kyle, Fat Country Boy is talking a bunch of shit. All right. And I may need you over one of my shoulders. Which one do you want? Right or left? I need you over one of them. We're going. Let's go. Let's run it up. Welcome in, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too, Bobby. Just leave Fat Country alone, man. He got nothing on you, bro. He got nothing on you, bro. So easy talking. Hey, Twitter fingers. That's all it is. It's Twitter fingers.
Hey, I'm about to put you big screen so he can think about it again. He might think again after looking at you. Cut sleeve, little ink for the. What's the ink? Show us the ink.
Oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got some circuit board type stuff. Infantry cross rifles. This is the big one though, Bobby. The power button. I'm left-handed. All the power's in this arm. So, Big Country, come press this thing and find out what happens.
Dude, that looks like that would absolutely take a guy out.
Yeah,
that's an elbow that is lead. That reminds me of Miles Bergier, paging Miles Bergier, my high school basketball teammate. His elbows were made of steel. Yours look like they're made of iron, maybe both. I don't know, but I know you probably didn't plan on showing.
Elbows hit different in basketball.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
My forearms from 2010 to 2013, my forearms looked like different colors. That's a conversation for another day. You probably didn't plan on coming off to show off the bodybuilding side of things, but your thoughts today on what's going to become one that Cinco de Mayo 2025 will be remembered in Baltimore for reasons anything other than Cinco de Mayo. So how will you remember it?
Man, I think this fan base is. I want to be optimistic. I mean, I hope nothing best for the new kicker, Loop, but. I mean, even since Justin Tucker's been here for 10, 11 years now. Before that, we had a couple years at Cundiff, and then before that, it was Matt Stover. I think it was that transition. Matt Stover, Cundiff, Justin Tucker, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Matt Stover, consistent, great kicker. Cundiff, we know what happened there, but it wasn't a very long tenure. And then Justin Tucker, Mr. Consistency himself for the next 10 years. I'm worried that it's going to be tough bringing in a new kicker with the expectations that we've had for the last 20, 25 years. Like multiple people have said on the stream, he was a bathroom break guy. Justin Tucker's coming out to kick. All right, cool. I'll go take the restroom. I'll go refill my drink. I'll go get more snacks. You come back and there's 3 points on the board. Too easy. I think that's going to I hate to say I think it's going to change, but you get where I'm getting at, Bobby? It's like it was automatic, and that whole mentality was automatic. It was nothing but pure faith in the kicker, and I think if this new guy comes out and say he misses 2 of his first 4, all hell is going to break loose, and this guy's life's over.
I totally know what you're getting at, and I've been thinking about it all off season when it comes to 2 words: pressure management. And it's not been in the context of what we're now knowing is reality when it comes to Justin's release and the transition and the end of a new era and whatnot. Pressure management in my mind was, how can they get over the hump in January? Because their star players haven't been star-like. Lamar was when it counted last year, obviously, in what could have been the game-tying drive, game-winning drive, perhaps, but not nearly consistently enough for everyone's liking had their star standout players been exactly that. in crunch time moments. And so I started to think, well, how can they pressure manage differently when they're back there again, inevitably, when they run the table in the regular season, much I expect them to do this upcoming season, and they're in a very similar position, hopefully for their sake, with home field advantage this go around. But what are they going to do differently? And I think the same could be said for Tyler Loop. How will he pressure manage? He's not only dealing with pressure entering the NFL for the first time, he's dealing with pressure trying to succeed the greatest, most accurate kicker of all time in the organization that he literally has had he's been a mainstay. He's been a cornerstone piece. He is Baltimore in a lot of ways. He's a part of the fabric of this community. You could really argue that. And I don't know if anybody in that building, Kyle, has an answer for what the answer to that question is. How will Tyler Loop pressure manage? How do you evaluate that? How do you foresee that? How do you predict it? Got me. You got me.
You know, you bring up something good too, is when we're talking about playoffs and how the pressure management and what happens this year. I don't know, this just dawned on me when you brought that up, but when's the last time Tucker was even in a pressure situation in the playoffs?
It's been a long time.
Buffalo?
It's been a long time.
You know, he missed one in Buffalo when it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds, but I don't think anybody really blamed him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not even like he's had an opportunity. So, like, at the end of the day,
Philly was a big game, but it wasn't a playoff game. It felt like
correct.
a playoff game last year.
Absolutely.
He was the reason why they lost that. By the way, let me just interject real quick. I do not tolerate any kind of treatment or behavior that I just put Fat Boy Country in a timeout. I didn't ban him. I'm going to give him one more chance. He started to say a few things that were completely out of pocket to Tila and other ladies in the live chat. Tila, I got you. We put his ass in timeout. If he comes back and does it again, he's banned forever. Keep going, Kyle.
No, you're right about Philly, but I just can't, you know, you're talking about what's it going to look like this coming year. It's like, well, we haven't even had to have a kicker step up in a clutch moment in the playoffs. I mean, I can't think of one besides maybe the last one was, I'm not counting Buffalo because that was just basically playing in a mild tornado in a stadium. And then, you know, that Super Bowl run, like outside the Super Bowl run, what clutch playoff kicks has Tucker? Oh, my bad. What clutch playoff kicks has Tucker even had to attempt?
It's been a minute, dude. It's
you know what I mean? And that just hit me. So I don't know. It's like we don't really have much to gauge as far as playoffs go now that you bring it up. But if it comes down to it, it's like, I don't know. I can't help but think it's a rookie kicker. What are we going to do? Like, what are you going to do about it? And I just think that this fan base is in for what could be a very humbling couple years, getting used to a kicker that is a rookie, is getting his first couple steps in the NFL, but also having to live up to the expectation that was automatic. And, you know, we might have to face the facts that, you know, I used to laugh at other teams when I'd see a field goal missed. I used to crack up. I loved it because I was like, oh, we don't worry about that in Baltimore. But that may not be the case anymore. We might have to deal with having a run-of-the-mill average kicker. That's just the reality of it.
And I think that's a great closing thought, because when you're in a Super Bowl or bust era, in which they are and have been for multiple years now, that's a tough reality. That's a tough pill to swallow. We'll see about it. We'll give them a chance. They see something in them, but there's also a long time sometimes to develop and ultimately transition to NFL life, especially at kicker, with a new level of pressure management, with a new spotlight that's the size of you-know-what, that is directly looking down on you, not only at an organization with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, but you're trying to succeed, the most accurate kicker of all time. I hope he's got the right temperament. My God, I'm praying for him. I really am. You're not wishing anything ill will against Tyler Loop whatsoever, but I think it's a great closing thought. Appreciate the call, brother.
Thanks, Bobby.
Talk soon. Kyle Joyce, everybody. That was a great call. And Big Raj, I got to make it quick, man, just because well, one, I'm over 90 minutes and I got to get dinner ready. I got to get Tilly taken care of. So let me get a closing thought from you. Appreciate you for being here. Your thoughts today on this day for Justin Tucker.
It sucks, man. It really sucks that he's let go. But it's a new beginning pretty much. So we had him for 13 years. He's made plenty of big kicks. The one against the Broncos is sending us to the AFC Championship game in 2012 or 2013. The Detroit kick, you already mentioned it, the 66-yarder. And Tyler Luke, I mean, he's the first ever drafted kicker by the Ravens, 6th-round pick. Let's give him a shot. Let's see what he does. You knew it was going to come anyway, eventually. He's 35 years old, going to turn 36 this year. A lot of allegations going against him right now. And with everything that's going on with the Diddy stuff and Shannon Sharp stuff, we just don't know what's going to happen with Justin Tucker later on. So I don't mind it. It is what it is. He'll be inducted into the Ravens a Ring of Honor, hopefully into the Hall of Fame as well later down the line. But it just is what it is, Bobby.
Well said, Raj.
And I'm glad you've gotten a lot better since Buffalo.
How so?
No, remember you was in Buffalo and you got sick?
Oh,
and that was the last time I talked to you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Have I ever? Good Lord. Dude, those are 2 weeks I'm not going to get back. And I think I am still trying to put on the pounds that I lost. So thank you for remembering.
Yes, sir. But I'm not going to hold you up too much. We'll be talking about it on our channel.
Good.
That we got to get you on still.
Yes,
course.
You do. Do I owe you a message back?
Yeah, I think we did message you, but I don't think you hit us back.
I probably did not because I'm absolutely horrific with that. What's the remind me the channel and which platform you hit me on?
It's the Flex Zone podcast, and I believe we hit you on Instagram or X, one of the two.
Okay, do me a favor. Can you follow up like tonight or whenever?
Yes.
And I will make a note literally right now. I apologize. I honestly I hate when I do this. There's just only so many freaking platforms that I can keep up with. Flex Zone.
Yep, the Flex Zone podcast. Okay. FLEX Zone
awesome.
Podcast.
All right, cool. Yeah, I definitely I will hit you back.
All right, we'll definitely message you again on
Thanks,
probably X or Instagram, one of the two.
Hey, you know what? I'll leave you with this, and I do owe you time too on here because it's really I'm coming up on 2 hours, and you just happen to be the last caller. But I love persistence. Anybody that gets mad at persistence to me doesn't understand business, doesn't understand what it means to be a grinder. And a great example of this is just this morning. I sent out a bunch of emails last week. This just shows you that while we're 3 years into our channel, what we're building and everything, and we're in a great place, we still have a lot of overhead. And part of that is that we become our own guest bookers. And so I reached out to a number of different publicists to try and get Ravens rookies on. We were able to have Bilal Kone on last week, which was awesome, but a lot of people didn't respond back. So what do I do? First thing this morning, 7 a.m., sit down at the table, got my oatmeal out. I'm just firing off follow-ups from last week. And what do you know? Who hits me back? Brent Fry's publicist. He's the head coach of Virginia Tech. And of course, he coached FUB, Aeneas Peebles. And he's going to be coming on the show 12:30 Wednesday. And so it's it's like, how could I ever, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. It's more like an example of, man, I love persistence. It's worked for me. And I would never, ever slight anybody for showing persistence in any line of business. So I look forward to way late following up with you and getting something on the calendar. Appreciate you.
No problem, Bobby. Take care. Have a good rest of your evening. And Ravens fans, is going to be okay. I think Tyler Luke is going to be all right.
Later, man. Appreciate you. Flex Zone podcast, guys. Go check them out. Big Raj and company. And I look forward to hopefully getting something scheduled. I'm terrible. My timeliness. I usually try to be super timely with emails, super timely with DMs, and then just life gets in the way. Here's what I'm going to close with today. It's a non-Raven story. It's a non-Justin Tucker story. It's a non-sports story, and I really want to get your thoughts on it. But first, please support my brand sponsors. If you do, you're supporting the show. You're supporting the commitment that goes into this. I am a self-employed entity. Everything goes so far, liking the video, subscribing, free things like that, becoming a patron member, joining the Discord server, supporting the brand sponsors, even if it is simply clicking on the links that we have included in the show notes. It really does go a long way. And I know that Sarah and I both appreciate it. I appreciate it when I'm on the Bobby Baltimore side of things for sure. But there is a lot of chatter going on right now, and you can join that chatter for free by clicking on the link that I just dropped into the live chat. It is a 24/7 hub for conversation surrounding Baltimore sports. We hit 800 members last week. It is totally free, and we talk all sports. It's an awesome community. It's a great way to interact with me more informally, and it's a great way to meet some other like-minded folks that enjoy Baltimore sports. So thank you in advance. Here's what I want to finish off, and I want to really kind of hear and see and reflect on some viewpoints here, because I may have got a little bit too big for my britches this weekend. All right. You guys know I'm always an open book. This will be no exception. Saturday night, I'm out with my friends. Moderately drinking, I would say. The night before, highly booze. It was a booze night. It started at Nick's Fish House. It then went to Rye Street Tavern. We then ended up in Fells. Good Lord. It was too much. Something I'm not really, those days are behind me. I'm not saying I'm old and grizzled, but I'm 30 years old. I don't need to be doing that. But we did on Friday night. On Saturday, we went to a comedy show, which is actually kind of cool. It's a stand-up comedy show in Upper Fells, right across from Ecky Benton, like an art gallery. It's kind of cool. I was third wheeling my friends. I would never go to a comedy show if it was like something that I found. The only comedy show I'd ever been to, which set a very high mark, was Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura, and they brought out Shane Gillis 2 years ago at the Super Bowl in Vegas when I was out there working Radio Row. So for me, it was like, all right, I've been to the pinnacle, but I just don't do comedy. Maybe I'm just not that. I just don't have a personality, I think, that translates. I think I can be funny. I think I can enjoy humor, but I've never been one to like seek out a comedy show. I don't know. That's just me. We went to a comedy show, and then we went out to Canton. We were in Canton Square, and we were mixing it up and whatnot. And I had a few. The couple that I was with had kept themselves in check, so they were driving home. They offered to drive me home, which was nice of them. As I opened the car door to get into the back seat, out of my peripheral vision, I see like objects flying. I'm like, what the hell? So I look down the street, and a couple cars behind us that are in the same lane, parallel parked as us, same side of the street, I should say, they were throwing trash, what looked to be fast food remnants, trash, out of the window onto the street. And I don't know about you, but few things set me off like littering does. You can call that, I don't know, arrogant or entitled or upstate New York boy, or you're not from Baltimore, whatever you want to call it, go ahead and call it. But that grinds my gears. And it's not even like I'm some like green freak. I recycle. I love the earth. And to me, I come from a place, I come from a background or a family like most do, where you want to protect and be a good, positive civilian in the place in which you live. Clean up after yourself, simple shit like that. To me, it's always been simple. And since I've lived here, the amount of blatant littering has been so incredibly consistent that still to this day, I scratch my head at how much littering takes place in Baltimore City. And all you have to do, as I do on most weeknights in the off season, is walk along the promenade, anywhere on the Patapsco, anywhere along the Inner Harbor, to remind yourself of it. And it's not a great reminder at all. Okay, with all that said, I did something that lacked emotional intelligence and put not only myself in harm's way, but my friends, and I ended up hearing it. Here's the story, and I want to get your thoughts too. I want your, especially those of you who are from here, because this is where it starts to get a little dicey. Instead of getting in the car, I looked at the car, stared at them as if to say, like, really? I stared at them in the car. I couldn't see anybody in the car. It was dark, but I stared, and there were street lights, of course. It was like a block off of Canton Square. I stared at them until they got out of the car. And a bigger woman gets out of the passenger side seat, and she says, "You got a problem?" I got a couple of drinks in me. I said, "Yeah, I do, actually. You're the problem. You're part of the problem why the streets of Baltimore look the way that they do because of your careless, a blatant disregard for humanity. Now, you might think out there right now in the live chat, and I'm not looking at it right now because I want to be able to finish my thought before I get into some of your feedback. But you might be thinking that I am way overreacting right now. But I feel strongly about this. Remember, I live in Canton, so this is my neighborhood. I've been here for a while now. Before that, I was in Fells. I take exception to that kind of stuff. Did I handle it the right way? No, I did not. Here's what happened after. She starts, once I say that, she's set off. Her other friend gets out of the car, which is also a female. Then the guy gets out of the car. Shockingly, the guy, one, is my height, not like an overly alarming size whatsoever in terms of like his stature or like the physical side of things that might be a deterrent to me. He's also just chilling. He honestly seemed like he was high as shit, which, hey, all power to him. Hope he enjoyed it. So he was not confrontational. Two women were, and they came flying up to me barking. I mean, it went from like 0 to 100 quickly. And this is where I just can't put myself at risk, right? Because who knows what's going to happen in that moment. After hours, it's after midnight. I say it's after 2 a.m. that nothing could happen. Sarah says after midnight, whatever. That's an argument for another time. But the fact that I put myself in that position and my friends who were in the car, I just look back at it and it's like, I've prided myself, I think, since turning 30 and really over the last couple of years of showing a great level of emotional intelligence. And there's been improvement in that area, an area that I once lacked in. But in this moment, I lost that emotional intelligence. And while I did not once in this interaction become confrontational, they did. We were arguing back and forth. What I ended up doing that set them off was I went and picked up the trash for them and threw it out in a bin that was about 10 to 15 feet away from their vehicle. That's how close it was. That's how convenient it was. Had they just said, let me just walk the 10 steps to get to the trash can. That set them off. And we're arguing back and forth. I'm trying not to raise my voice. They are. It's getting very loud. It's getting rowdy. And then it starts to get out of your control. Ultimately, I turn around for 1 second to start to walk back to the car. And this woman got a good lick on me. I mean, she smacked the shit out of my head. Back of my head. I mean, nothing that I couldn't immediately walk away from. It pissed me off, but what are you going to do? You can't retaliate. That's for sure. And there's no way you should retaliate anyway because it's 3-on-1, even though it's 2 ladies and one guy. So I got in the car, and then the rest is probably something I should keep off camera. But long story short, my friends were not happy, and they expressed their frustrations with me. And as I've reflected on it in the last couple of days, I keep thinking, like, not only did I put myself in danger by showing that lack of emotional intelligence, and, look, I don't think it was a dangerous situation, honestly, but it could have been. And how do I know, right? Hindsight's 20/20. Of course, I don't think it's dangerous because it didn't get dangerous, but it could have. And not only would it have been dangerous for me, but those around me too, with my friends. So anyway, it's just been on my mind. I wanted to get it out there. I have not read one comment. There's still 1,500 people watching this right now. I'm curious. I want to scroll through some of these and get your honest feedback. But it's something I've been thinking about last couple of days. All right, let's see what the chat's saying. Then I got to go because I've been on here for almost 2 hours. Good God, I had no plans of doing this. Okay. Mr. Jackson says you really tried that in Baltimore. Yeah. I think that's probably what a lot of people are feeling like. The Stuttering Truth says you got to remember where you are. Plus, sometimes you have to think for other people. John says when Bobby drinks, he becomes Captain Planet. Larry says press charges. Zone says I'm an asshole. Listen, I know I'm an asshole, okay? I can be an asshole. I know that. Do you know how good it felt to go pick up their trash and throw it in the trash can? Not to make light of this situation, okay? not to make light of this situation. It felt really good. Okay. It felt really good. But she got a good lick on me. She did. Ronnie says people in this city get seriously hurt over way less. You're not wrong for caring, but it's not always your fight. Yeah. John says, don't risk your life over litter, Bobby. It ain't worth it. Smitty says, slaps do come with clarity. That's funny. Mary says, it's ridiculous with grown people littering. You were right. It's people like that. They get away with shit like that. Look, this is not the first time that I've done this. You'd think I would have learned by now. I have a really hard time. I got a really, really hard time holding my tongue. Fat Country Boy's back. I put him in timeout. Somebody let me know since I've been on my monologue. Has he been treating Tila and Holly and others the same way that got him in timeout a second ago? Because if he is, your ass is banned. I'm going to ban you in a second, Fat Country Boy. I will do it. And then I'll have my father come in and put you to sleep again with Kyle's elbow. Mike's in the waiting room. Mike, we have to get you in here in just a second. I know you're going to be talking. Garnett says, Bobby had that Pat Ricard energy at that hit. Let me tell you what, okay? I thought I showed some restraint with this, to be quite honest with you. I was running really hot, as anybody would when you get smacked in the head, and she got a good lick on me. It was a sucker punch, essentially, a sucker slap. It was not a punch. She slapped me in the head. Didn't feel it the next morning. Barely felt it then because of liquor. But what's your first reaction? Your first reaction is, hey, it's on. But I'm not like, you can't retaliate, especially with a woman. Not in today's life. Gosh, how do I pronounce this? Anya Bagato says, not surprised. Folks in Baltimore don't even clean their dog's shit off the ground. That is true. Drives me insane, especially when they leave it right outside your front doorstep. Mr. Wick says, fuck it. I'd smack her goofy ass back. Oh, I can't do that. There's cameras all around there. I was honestly walking away from the scene, realizing that there were cameras everywhere. Zone says Bobby's going to get his head knocked off over some trash. Kevin says, Bobby, pick your battles, bro. This city is wild. Brother Al says, not going to lie, as a man who grew up in Cherry Hill, Baltimore is a poor city and poor people are dirty as heck. Poor people don't have pride in their environment. And it really bothers me also. That's the thing. They didn't come across as poor. I can't judge a book by its cover, but they didn't come across as poor. They came across as if this was ingrained in them, that this was their culture, that this was something that they have grown accustomed to doing, that maybe they watched at home, right, when they were of young and impressionable. That's the way it came across to me. It was so upset. Look, I don't mean to come across as like, I really don't want any ounce of this to come across as arrogant, entitled, whatever. But it bothers me. This shit bothers me. This is the place in which I live. It may seem simple to some of you. To me, it's such a greater issue that's representative of some of the shortcomings of this great city. It's an awesome city. I love it here. Garnett says, let's keep it real and uncomfortable. Were they black? I plead the fifth. I ain't going there, which is why I haven't said anything since this topic began when it came to race. Dre Dog says, Bobby, bro, please get your concealed carry license. And I think we got enough feedback here. There's a lot of it. Mike, you want to talk about Justin or me? Or both? How you doing, dude? This is the last call tonight. I already said that multiple times.
Hold on.
Wait, I appreciate you. What you got, my man? Oh, you just muted yourself there.
Bobby, man, I live in Texas, right? We have a slogan, don't mess with Texas, right? That's anti-littering. And me personally, that's something I'm against. I saw somebody in the comments talking about dogs. I live in an apartment complex, right? My previous neighbor, young kid, people walk by, let their dogs just crap everywhere. I walk outside my apartment. I can even walk in the grass. I gotta always stay on the sidewalk because, and then so if I see you, that's something that I bring up. And especially if you walk away while your dog is, and I'm just like, hey, you might want to carry, and then this complex that we stay in has those, dog posts, they carry bags. So maybe, part of being neighborly, so I'm with calling out people, all for it. But what you said about when you have been drinking and you're with your friends and other people, who might not be comfortable with that. Ooh, I get in trouble for that, bro.
Well,
And
and
it's
let
like
me
we're in
just
Houston, bro. So it's like, trust me, I've been through these, when I'm with other people, and everybody out here is strapped. That's what they're trying to tell you in the comments. Like, everybody out here is strapped. So you don't never know how other people are gonna take that. And you try to hold strangers accountable.
Yeah. Well, let me expand
Yeah.
on something because I think you just made a great point that I need to reiterate. I didn't want to get into the specifics just out of their privacy and whatnot, but I won't say anything that's too intrusive. But this is one of my good buddies. Is he a high school buddy? No. Is he a college buddy? No. But he's somebody that I've befriended in Baltimore. He was at my 30th birthday last summer in Ocean City, and we've gotten pretty close. He lives in Canton. His girlfriend just moved in with him. They're kind of starting their lives and whatnot. He raised his voice to a new level with me right after that. And he had every right to do so. His girlfriend at the time of this incident was outside the car.
Mm-hmm.
He was inside the car. He had every right to do so. I apologized in the morning. I called both of them. I felt terrible. I had a pit in my stomach about it. But goddamn, there's times where, and it's not worth it, right? It's never worth it. But there are times where you become so frustrated with something that has become such a deterrent, right? Such a stunt of growth in the city in which you live that's directly leading to people having a certain perception about the place in which you live. That is so frustrating as a resident that you just can't hold your tongue in the moment. And that's what happened to me.
And, in the future, that's such a minor thing, in the grand scheme of things where, he's with his loved one, and you never know who that stranger is, what their reaction is going to be, to where, when safety comes, into the picture. When I'm with my girl, like, I'm ignoring a lot of stuff. It's just flying over the head. Moving accordingly and making sure that we make from point A, point B, and back at home safe. And, I rarely ever leave my humble abode because it's just way too much going on out there. So, the times that I do step out, I'm making sure that I'm on point and I'm not starting things that, even with my friends, like, even if somebody bumps me the wrong way and I know I got my friends and we can handle that stuff, it's like, woosah, it's just like, as long as there's no disrespect, you step on my shoes, certain things that, send me off. And I'm just like, but it's like, I still gotta be, grounded and centered and making sure that, I'm not doing those things, because it's been those talks as well with my friends. Like, bro, like, them boys from Detroit, we don't know what they're about. Them boys from over here, and they're in the club popping shit. We don't know. And then they're just trying to start, and just like, don't even bite, don't even take the bait, don't even go there, because when you're trying to make a home safe, that's the good thing about even going out and stepping outside your house, trying to celebrate, trying to do whatever you're trying to do. So I was scared for you as you was telling that story, and it was progressing. I was just like, oh man, like
Yeah.
But
well, I appreciate the feedback, and always great seeing you in person rather than through your face rather than Discord. But appreciate all the support, dude. You never miss a show, so thank you.
Likewise, and Manny's still out here, bro. Out here in Houston. So I'm gonna make the campaign. Come on, come.
Do your thing.
I see they're talking about South Carolina or whatever. So this is the official Houston recruit call right here, man. Come on.
Bobby Houston in this bitch. Run it up.
Exactly.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thanks, Mike. Great call there, and appreciate the feedback from everybody. Joe Jenkins hit us with the super chat earlier. Thank you. Ms. hit me with a super chat. Thank you very much. Nate Thomas says, would have loved him to coach if not for the allegations. #Cook, referring to Justin Tucker and Sam Cook. Of course, they've brought him on. Joe Jenkins hits me with a closing one as well. Be you, Bobby. F everyone else. Go Ravens. Thank you all for being here. Even that fat boy country who probably is going to get his ass banned next time he tries to come in here and run his mouth. But we give him his 2 hours of fame, right? 5 minutes of fame, 2 hours of fame. I just gave you 2 hours worth of content. I did not plan on going for 2 hours, but here we are. I appreciate you guys for being here as always. If you want to throw some love to the channel that goes directly to the daily efforts that go into making this show, you can Venmo, Cash App, like the video, hit a super chat, subscribe, hit that notification bell, join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. It's over 800 members strong. It is growing every single day. Mike is in there. A lot of people that called tonight are in there. I hope to see you guys in there. I know Holly's in there. Holly just got sent just today. The Manta sleep mask that she won during draft weekend, the giveaway. I know Jack Kilroy is going to be getting the Kyle Hamilton signed football in a couple weeks from Preston Automotive. We had some Orioles ticket people win as well. So it's been an awesome show. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me for all 120 minutes and counting. Thank you. Sarah and I will be back with you tomorrow to give more thoughts on this situation, more thoughts on where the Ravens go from here, and ultimately, what will the succession be like? What will this change of guard taking place? We will see. We will see. Jack, it is a helmet. It is a mini signed helmet. Thank you. Mini signed helmet, Kyle Hamilton. Kate, who's your point person, is on her way back from vacation. We'll be in touch with you, brother. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks to Primary Residential Mortgage for the continued support. Thanks to all of you for hanging out. Tuesday it is. Much more to come tomorrow. Later.